Scholars, I wanted to give you a quick rundown today for the classwork expectations, specifically the close read mini lesson. So, first things first, let's just read the objective. Scholars will be able to analyze how dehumanizing treatment changes Elizar's character by close reading two passages in order to analyze the themes of survival and identity and night. Very similar to what we did last week, really looking at passages that show dehumanizing treatment to see how those events change Ellie's identity and what he does in order to survive, or what he becomes in order to survive. Always read our essential question. You're going to need to keep this in mind moving forward. Please make sure you read everything carefully. I included a slide of the Buna concentration camp for a little bit of visual reference today. And we're going to jump right into the close read. So, first of all, what is close reading? Close reading simply means rereading and reflecting on a passage to come to a new conclusion and understanding of it. It's sort of a more rigorous analysis of a text in order to come to terms with what it says, how it says it, what it means. And we usually do this by analyzing diction, figurative language like literary devices, and syntax, which is sentence structure. Don't focus on syntax too much right now because I haven't really taught you that, but that will play a hand moving forward, maybe next year and when you get to high school. But like I said, right now, don't worry about it. So, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this passage that is on page 52 and model the process of annotations that I want you to do with our close read passages. He had been thrown into prison and was about to be hanged. It appeared that he had been dealing in the prisoner's gold teeth for his own benefit. I felt no pity for him. In fact, I was pleased with what was happening to him. My gold crown was safe. It could be useful to me one day to buy something, some bread, or even time to live. At that moment in time, all that mattered to me was my daily bowl of soup, my crust of stale bread. The bread, the soup, those were my entire life. I was nothing but a body, perhaps even less, a famished stomach. The stomach alone was measuring time. And the question's asking, what literary device does Wiesel use in the quotation above? And how does this literary device show the reader that Ellie has changed? So let's look for uh, instances where Ellie and his character have changed. So let's underline all of the key ideas that show us that. So if we look here, we see that the dentist who has been hanged, he feels no pity for him. That's something I'm going to underline. And this is definitely a change in Ellie's character because we know him as a sympathetic young boy, or we knew him as that. But the events that have transpired have kind of changed him and morphed him into something else. So he felt no pity for him. In fact, I was pleased with what was happening to him. My gold crown was safe. So here we see that Ellie is only looking out for himself and his own belongings, his own things. So that again is another change. He's being selfish here instead of selfless. It could be useful to me one day to buy something, some bread, or even time to live. He knows at this time that something like a gold crown could save his life. So he's not in sympathetic, let me help you out mode. He is in survival mode. And that is an important distinction. At that moment in time, all that mattered to me was my daily bowl of soup, my crust of stale bread. The bread, the soup, those were my entire life. I was nothing but a body. So here, again, his entire life is survival. I'm going to underline that. And here we see the literary device. He's comparing himself, nothing but a body, but perhaps even less, a famished stomach. The stomach alone was measuring time. So here is the literary device. Literary devices I'm going to highlight. And the stomach alone was measuring time. Another key idea that I'm going to underline. This is the process of annotating the passages that I provide for you. You're going to have one example, a few slides from this one, and I want you to annotate just like this. Underline key ideas, anything that helps you answer the question, highlight any literary devices, and then you're good from there. So now let's start answering our question. So the first question, what literary device does Wiesel use in the quotation above? Let's go for it. It's a metaphor. through the metaphor of the famished stomach, Wiesel asserts that his very existence is, or let me just say, depends on his next meal. And now I'm going to provide some context for this quote so that whoever's reading it knows that I know what happened before this event, so you can best understand my evidence and my analysis. So after the camp's dentist is hanged, Ellie does not feel, and I'm going to zoom in on pity here, for the man. Even though the dentist was doing pretty much what everyone else was trying to do, and that's staying alive. Even the dentist was simply doing the same as everyone else, trying to stay alive. Instead, Ellie is relieved. He has kept his gold tooth. And one of the questions in today's classwork asks you why you think he kept this gold tooth. Now think about that. It's one of the only things he still has from his previous life that is his. So in a way, it is something valuable that is his, belongs to him. It's a part of him, and he doesn't want to give up all of himself right now. So he can use it to barter for bread, or, oops, sorry, I made a typo, for bread or soup later on. And here's my evidence. I was nothing but a body, a famished stomach, measuring time. Let me make this a little smaller, the font, so that we have enough room to work with here. And now here's my analysis. Now I'm going to analyze how this literary device shows the reader that Ellie has changed. So here we see himself comparing himself to a famished stomach. So Ellie's stomach, this is his lifeline. Is his lifeline without food. Sorry, it's his lifeline. And without food, he will not be able to live, and therefore his stomach is his clock. Measuring, and I'm going to zoom in on time here, and counting down, oops, I spelled that wrong, down the days of his survival in the camp, his stomach is more important than any other part of him because he is depending on it for his survival. And here we have a solid paragraph response where I have a topic sentence that introduces the metaphor. Let's fix these typos. We all have them. And then I have context right here telling me what has happened before this quotation. My evidence is right here. And then the rest is my analysis and how he is no longer just an individual who's looking out for everyone else. Right now, his stomach is his lifeline, and he has changed into someone that needs to survive. He's no longer just a child, he's a survivor. This is a big, big component of his change due to the dehumanizing treatments of the Holocaust. Okay, so this is an exemplary response to this question, but like I said before, it takes rigorous analysis, and this analysis begins with right here, effective annotations. So make sure you have that down. Moving forward, you need to annotate properly and write a full paragraph response when asked to do so. That goes for these close reading questions and for your exit tickets. You must always have argument, context, evidence, analysis. Please follow this model to better ensure your success moving forward. Please make sure you do all of the work today. Remember, the audiobook and the full text in PDF is always here on this slide. Do your exit ticket, and your homework is right here. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more helpful videos moving forward. And as always, I miss you all, and please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks a lot.